Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribol, Nitya Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribol. Haribol, Nitya Gaura Haribol. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada. Jaya Nityalila, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya, Asashitashi Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Nityalila, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya, Asashitashi Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Chamakun Radha Kun Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai, Ayodhya Dhama Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Sama Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Shri Harinama Sankirtan Yagna Ki Jai, Cow Protection Ki Jai, Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai, New Govardhan Farm Community Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We're beginning a new chapter. Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 1. The chapter is called Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. Brahmovacha Ganatosi Medya Suchiran Nanudeha Bhajam Najayate Bhagavate Gatiriti Avadyam Nanyatvadasti Bhagavan Apitanna Shuddham Maya Guna Vyati Karadyad Uruvipasi Brahmo Vacha Ganatosi Medya Suchiran Anudeha Bhajan Najayate Bhagavato Gatir It Avadyam Nanyatvadasti Bhagavan Apitanna Sudham Maya Guna Vyati Karadyat Urur Vibhashi Brahmo Vacha Gnatosi Medya Suchiran Manudeha Bhajam Nagnayate bhagavato gati avidyam. Nanyatvadasti bhagavan apitanna sutyam. Maya gunavyati karadyat urur vibhasi. Brahma uvacha. Lord Brahma said, Ganataha, known, Asi, you are, Me, by me, Adya, today, Suchirat, after a long time, Nanu, but, Deha, Bhajam, or one who has a material body, Na, not, Gnayate, is known, Bhagavata, of the personality of Godhead, Gatihi, cause, iti, so it is, avadyam, great offense, na anyat, none beyond, tvat, you, asti, there is, Bhagavan, O my Lord, aphi, even though there is, tat, anything that may be, na, never, shudham, absolute, maya, material energy, guna vyatikarat, because of the mixture of the modes, yat, to which, uruhu, transcendental, vibhashi, you are. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord, today, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know you, to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, we are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the Absolute. You exist as the Supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter. Please repeat. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord, today, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, you are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the Absolute. You exist as the Supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter. Purport. The highest peak of ignorance of the living entities who are conditioned by material bodies is that they are unaware of the supreme cause of the cosmic manifestation. Different people have different theories regarding the supreme cause, but none of them are genuine. The only supreme cause is Vishnu, and the intervening impediment is the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord has employed His wonderful material energy in manifesting many, many wonderful distractions in the material world. And the conditioned souls, illusioned by the same energy, are thus unable to know the supreme cause. The most stalwart scientists, philosophers, therefore, cannot be accepted as wonderful. They only appear wonderful because they are instruments in the hands of the illusory energy of the Lord. Under illusion, the general mass of people deny the existence of the Supreme Lord and accept the foolish products of illusory energy as supreme. One can know the Supreme Cause, the personality of Godhead, by the causeless mercy of the Lord, which is bestowed upon the Lord's pure devotees like Brahma and those in his disciplic succession. By acts of penance only was Lord Brahma was able to see Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and by realization only could he understand the Lord as he is. Brahma was extremely satisfied by observing the magnificent beauty and opulence of the Lord, and he admitted that nothing can be comparable to him. Only by penance one can appreciate the beauty and opulence of the Lord. When one is acquainted with that beauty and opulence, he is no longer attracted by any other. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 2:59. Param drishtva nivartate. Foolish human beings who do not endeavor to investigate the supreme beauty and opulence of the Lord are here condemned by Brahma. It is imperative that every human being try for such knowledge, and if anyone does not do so, his life is spoiled. Anything that is beautiful and opulent in the material sense is enjoyed by those living entities who are like crows. Crows always engage in picking at rejected garbage, whereas the white ducks do not mix with the crows. Rather, they take pleasure in transparent lakes with the lotus flowers surrounded by beautiful orchards. Both crows and ducks are undoubtedly birds by birth, but they are not the same feather. I'll read the verse again. Lord Brahma said, "O my Lord, today, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, we are the only knowable object, because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not absolute. You exist as the supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter." Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. What a beautiful purport. Every sentence, every paragraph has such a deep meaning. And it's reminding us as aspiring devotees how fortunate we are to come to this point, even just to this point, that we know our most beloved Krishna. By the grace of our teachers, by the grace of Sri Parampara, and by the assembly of the Vaishnavas. Every day we are reminded by our daily sadhana how fortunate we are. If we are chanting attentively and read Srila Prabhupada's books on a daily basis, we realize what we have received. Because the value, the treasure we have, knowing and perceiving Krishna's beauty just by having darshan of their Lordship, we're reminded that it's actually, there's nothing further than this. This is the topmost, the most beautiful vigraha form, Krishna's form. Therefore, Brahmaji the Mahapita of this cosmic manifestation, the first created living being, who has no material father and mother. He was the first created being, realizing his great fortune after his meditation, great tapasya. He has received 4 heads, so he can receive Divya Gyan from 4 directions. He is realizing how fortunate he is, the original, the initiator of our Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya. He is the father of all the great rishis, Narada, Sanat Kumar. They manifesting through his spiritual body. Although in the material world, the position of a Brahma is still not transcendental, because ultimately they are all posts. They're taking these positions to facilitate Krishna's creative energy. So they, just like Indra, Brahma, and many of the devas and devis, they're not just localized personalities, but they are posts. They take the positions, just like sometimes we have a prime minister, such and such, another 5 years, and such and such. The posts are there. So some very advanced, exalted souls come down to this material world to facilitate Lord Narayan's creative energy, creative creation. And the topic of creation is very extensive as we study the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second canto, how detailed, how the philosophy behind and the intention of Lord Shri Krishna. And Brahma had this great realization that there's nothing further than this. Therefore, he compiled the famous Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita, discovered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Brahma Kund. And then he emphasized that Lord Brahma had this deep realization. He perceived the topmost planet in Vaikuntha Dham, Goloka Vrindavan, which no other sampradaya is able to perceive so clearly. They more satisfied with their Vaikuntha realizations and the Ashraya approach to the Supreme Lord. Ashraya means own reverence, accepting the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they worship the Lord by rules and regulations, Pancharatrika Vidhi, samskaras, ritualistic performances, and they're very satisfied doing that. Obviously, the Nitya Swarupa. Nitya Swarupa means the original connection, original position in the transcendental world, in Vaikuntha Dham. They had a connection. So often living entities, they may be attracted to Vaikuntha awe and reverence type of worship. But by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have an access to Brahma Samhita, where we can actually realize there is such a realm which is even beyond, even above Vaikuntha experience. Because in Vaikuntha is 3/4 of the creation, of the entire creation of the Lord. And the last remaining fourth is the material cosmic manifestation, which has unlimited universes, even in the material estimation. We cannot comprehend Krishna's creation, unlimitedly expanding, even it's inconceivable. At the same time, Krishna always remains one. Achintya Bheda Bheda. It's always one and different through his energies and through his creative energies. So great personalities take positions, take posts. Brahmaji, Indra, Kuvera, Vayu, Agni, They're very important personalities here because they also charge not only administration of the cosmic universe, but they also governing certain elements, the Mahabhutas, the five elements, Agni, Vayu, air, Bhumi Devi, the earth. So they're powerful personalities behind this. And so Brahmaji is often known as Mahapita, the ultimate father of this cosmic universe, our cosmic universe. There are many Brahmas. Each universe has a Brahma, and they have different capacities. Some has 1,000 heads, some has million heads. So they're very great personalities. Our Brahma, our universe is one of the smallest amongst the rest. But even this, very large diameter, like the universe is also known as Brahmanda. Anda means egg, egg-shaped. And Lord Brahmaji sits his abode on the top of Mount Meru. And all the holy rivers, the most sacred rivers, Sindhu, Ganga, Mother Ganga also, coming down in four directions, coming down to a lower plane of the universe, coming down, purifying the entire cosmic manifestation. So Mother Ganga Devi, Ganga Maye, coming down from Brahmaloka. Of course, Ganga Devi comes even higher from Dhruva, and then above from the toe of Lord Vamanadev. So these holy rivers, including great personalities, extraordinary personalities, they're coming down to function as administrators. They have a very important task, great responsibility. And Brahmaji is the ultimate engineer of this cosmic manifestation. Everything you see here or experience, or not just the elements, designed by him. He had the master plan. The inspiration came from Supreme Narayan. Inspiration triggered the whole process of creation. He became very inspired by the Lord's revelation within his own heart as Chetya Guru. Chetya Guru is within our heart, the original Guru, and the external Guru coming in a Sri Parampara system, our spiritual masters. A Guru principle manifests in so many ways, through the Shastra, through the Sadhu, through the spiritual master. But ultimately there is a Param Guru, Chetya Guru within our own heart, where we can perceive him. But because we're not so pure, we need the external help. We need the guide and encouragement from our spiritual masters, because they can give us actual practical knowledge, divya jnana, transcendental knowledge. By this knowledge, by hearing from the Guru, we can have a direct perception who Krishna is. Because the first Guru of Brahmaji was Lord Narayan, directly. So he could perceive the original form, Govindam Aripusham Tamaham Bhajami, which no other sampradayas touch. They don't even understand this. They rather just avoid the topic. They remain with the worship of Lakshmiji, Lord Narayan. Nimbarka Sampradaya gives a bit more emphasis on Radharani, a bit more getting close to Goloka Vrindavan. But other Sampradayas, they don't have that very clear perception of the topmost personalities, the most confidential personalities. Beyond this ashraya, beyond this own reverence, there's a very sweet, intimate, confidential, spontaneous pastimes of Krishna. And this is when we arrive in Vrindavan. Our consciousness should arrive at the lotus feet of the residents of Rajabhumi, the cows, Govardhan Hill, Krishna and Balaram. And cooking for these lordships, dressing them, bathing them. That's what they did. So what we do here, Archa Vigraha, daily worship, we're learning the mechanics of that psychology. And we have a very, very sweet, loving relationship with Krishna. We're trying to revive that. So the great teachers, especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave us this formula for worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we know, and just like I mentioned the other class, that he took two elements out of all the sampradayas, the most noble, most attractive qualities. From Sri Vaishnavas, Ramanuja's teachings, he took the servitorship and the worship of Lakshmiji, the feminine approach, worshipping the great goddess, Bhumi Devi, Lakshmiji. Nimbarka Swami Sampradaya, he took the emphasis on approaching Krishna through Radharani. So they all had something to offer. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu get the best out of all and created the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, which is single-pointedly focusing on Vrindavan Lila. Our attainment, our sadhana practice, the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, should lead us to that Vrindavan mood. It takes time, it takes purification. That's called sadhana bhakti. We are purifying ourselves in the association of devotees. Very important, association of devotees. Very important. Because we inspire, encourage one another. And then this is when the ruchi, the taste comes, the inspiration comes. Just like Brahmaji got the inspiration. He was bewildered in the early stages. He could not perceive, but he heard the vibration, tapa, tapa. He was performing tapasya. Then gradually, Chaitya Guru, Lord Narayan himself, within his heart, had the revelation. So Brahmaji is the original receiver of Vedic knowledge. And then he took it further, realizing that actually there is more than just the Vedanta. There's something extraordinary, confidential pastimes here. Therefore, he compiled the Brahma Samhita, which is recognizing these not only esoteric but very deep pastimes, which requires a pure heart, very pure mind to really perceive these pastimes. Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, he gave a very beautiful commentary, purport on Brahma Samhita. Very eloquent English, very eloquent expressions. And Srila Prabhupada, he just left it as it is. It's such an exalted, expressive, metaphorical, transcendental emotions in that commentary. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj touched the essence of Goloka Vrindavan. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami, which is the ultimate inspiration, as Lord Brahma prays, for creative energy. He's approaching the Lord for creative powers. So he had to have the inspiration. If you have a very beautiful goal or desire to achieve something in this world which makes you very happy and joyful and accomplished, then you have great inspiration. Let me do it. Let me go for it. So Brahmaji had this experience, realization that yes, it's worthwhile, it's meaningful, it's so attractive. Krishna's pastime so attractive. It's mesmerized him. So then the whole process began. Triggered the whole process of creation. He is the engineer. He designed through his agencies, because even Lord Brahma has his agencies, they designed, according to Krishna's, Mahavishnu's, Manasa meditation, how the Lord wanted this cosmic manifestation to facilitate all the jivas coming to this material world to experience their journey, their lessons. So everything was planned out. Ultimately, everything is a plan by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very easy for us, because the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy straight goes to the essence, the spirit of things, which is really prema bhakti, prema dharma, touching, pure devotional service to Krishna with a very spontaneous loving affection, which other sampradayas having a little difficulty to fully comprehend, because they are so caught up in rules and regulations and the Vedic hymns, Purusha Shuktam, all kinds of hymns, very beautiful, very uplifting, but none of them has an access to Vrajabhumi Dham. So we are very fortunate. On a daily basis, we should read, as far as possible, Nectar of Devotion, Krishna book, because these sweet pastimes reminding us how fortunate we are. And Brahmaji was the first one who really, truly realized this. So we study Brahma Samhita. Very important. Because this is our ultimate inspiration and aspiration, because we want to get there. What we are chanting for? We are chanting not just to maintain some status like some service, not just for strength, but there's a goal of this chanting. Pure devotion to Krishna, unalloyed, unconditional devotional service. So we are very fortunate in many ways. We are very, very fortunate. I proudly say that because billions, if not countless living entities don't have this access. They spend in their lives, many, many lives, millions of lifetimes in that state of unawareness. As Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, most living entities have no access. Even great philosophers and great scientists, right? They don't have, they rely on their sense perception, imperfect senses. They don't have what we have just simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna. When we chant the holy names of Krishna, Sri Nama, with the utmost humility, Chinadapi Sunichena, we sing that every morning in a humble state of mind, offering respect to all living entities, giving up this false prestige, all these illusions that blocking us and stopping us to express our love for Krishna, because the soul he has this very deep urge of loving and receive love. But when we offer that love to Krishna, this is when it becomes complete. The real joy and happiness and peace of the devotee manifest. And even amongst ourselves, sometimes you see devotees who are really, really attached to Krishna and feel contentment and peace, which is like symptoms of advancement, because a devotee is satisfied with Krishna, he's peaceful. And he's especially a very advanced devotee, is in the transcendental plane, even more so than mode of goodness. So we have very beautiful goals, very sublime. So Srila Prabhupada emphasized the daily reading of Krishna book, such as simple stories, beautiful, sweet pastimes, and to remind ourselves this pure, simple, heartfelt, unalloyed, unconditional love what the Vrajabhumi, the residents of Vrajabhumi, and the Vrajavasis felt for Krishna. They had nothing else in their mind, just only loving Krishna. How can I actually please Krishna? How can I protect Krishna? They were simple village people. They're not scholars, pandits, whatever. They were just simple. Most of the village girls were just illiterate. They weren't Brahmins or scholars, or they just loved Krishna. They just went out of the way. Where is Krishna? That was in their mind. And when Krishna and Balaram were running around, Mother Yasoda and all the families, where are they? That's what they were thinking all day. Are they hungry? Are they dressed properly? What Krishna's doing? They're very mischievous. So, and they like to eat a lot of sweets. So, Prabhupada emphasized, when I was in New Mayapur in France, and I listened to all these lectures and morning walk conversations Srila Prabhupada gave about farm development, farm communities. And he says Krishna is the farmacharya. And Balaram, the brothers, they run the cows. They village boys. Such a sweet interaction. And here we are. We have an opportunity at least. We should realize this. We have this opportunity to get closer to Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the utmost, most intelligent, supreme personality of Godhead, he knew the importance of Archa Vigraha. Because when we serve the Lord, we become attached to Krishna. You're realizing, oh, he's a beautiful personality. Look at these deities, so beautiful. How can you not love them? Just looking at them, you feel love. So when we chant their holy names, then this is when the inspiration comes. Let me do something for Krishna. Just like Brahmaji, let me create the whole universe. Imagine how fired up he was. So we need to hear the Shastras. We need to read the scripture. We need to associate with the devotees. There are recommended processes. Very simple. Morning program, keep the association of devotees, chant the holy names as much as you can, because this simply raises our consciousness, our awareness. This when the realization comes. How fortunate we are. How fortunate we are to be in this beautiful farm amongst the devotees, thinking of the cows, where the cows, where Krishna. We can create that reality through our consciousness. Vrindavan is right here if we want to be. But if we allow ourselves to be distracted, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, this creation is done in such a way that we can be easily distracted also. Because the purpose of this creation is to give an opportunity to the living entities who want to experience the illusory potency. He wants to be in that. But if we want to break through this vicious cycle of lifetimes, changing bodies, samsara, all these things, then we should be intelligent enough, sincere enough to hear Divya Jnana, transcendental knowledge. Then everything becomes clear. And we become very inspired. And Srila Prabhupada says, foolish human beings who do not endeavor to investigate the supreme beauty and opulence of the Lord are here condemned by Brahma. It is imperative that every human being try for such knowledge. If anyone does not do so, his life is spoiled. So, and this is a very clear statement. Human life has a sublime goal. And by hearing and chanting, we're realizing that we should not spoil our life. We should use every moment, every word, every action in the service of the Lord and self-realization, trying to understand the true purpose of this life. It's not like just spending our lives aimlessly, there's no meaning to it, just gratifying our senses and our mental imagination or desires. This is not human life. The criteria of human life is called Aryan, supreme, transcendentally charged metaphysical knowledge. When we live a civilized way, realizing that there's a creation here, and everything was planned and controlled by the Supreme Divine, and we are blessed. Krishna is created such a way that if we want to be, we can be happy right here with our consciousness. We can transcend these modes. It takes an effort. So every devotee should take a personal responsibility instead of finding excuses not to embrace Krishna consciousness seriously. We should take responsibility and perform it. Just like Arjuna was very hesitant, but then Krishna chastised him. You're speaking like a learned man, but you neglecting your dharma, Kshatriya dharma. So Krishna was reminding him that he had a duty. We cannot just back off because of some difficulties. We have to transcend the mind and think clearly. Here we are, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, the holy names of Krishna, the Sankirtan process, so much to do for Krishna. So if we read the Shastras, read the scriptures, we become inspired, just like Brahmaji. We start accomplishing things for our spiritual master. And look at Srila Prabhupada. It's incredible what he has done for his spiritual master. So it had to be an inspiration there, a great love, commitment, dedication. When we have that one, then we can create Vrindavan right here. This is not just some kind of esoteric or some kind of projection that we want to achieve. No, we can achieve it right here. Vrindavan can be right here. Not that we have to wait many, many lifetimes to get there. We can create Vrindavan right in our consciousness. With the purity and devotion, we can manifest Vrindavan. This is when real preaching of Krishna consciousness takes place. When we actually have these feelings and love for Krishna, then people will be attracted to us. Because everyone looking for happiness and peace. Everyone's looking for some kind of meaning to their lives. And Krishna consciousness is the most attractive, especially if we represent our spiritual master in the best way we can, according to our best capacity. Best capacity, we try our best. And this is when Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Shri Parampara, our spiritual masters, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, and their lordships giving us the blessings. We get empowerment. Because what Brahmaji did, the creative energy is empowers, he had to be empowered. He was just an instrument. And he realized it. Oh, Lord Narayan gives me not only inspiration, but the empowerment. He could not do it by himself. No one can do anything without Krishna's mercy. So this is a very important to study, analyze, and realize. This is when the enthusiasm and the love for devotional service will manifest gradually. So this is a very important thing. Otherwise, we remain in the material platform. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, great scientists, great philosophers, they're not so wonderful because what they can offer. They're just analyzing something very transitory, temporary. There's no real solution. None of them can solve the problem. None of them can stop old age and death or disease. They don't have a solution, temporary solutions, not actual solution, no ultimate solution. Only Bhagavad Dharma, transcendental knowledge, the blessings of our teachers, Lord Krishna himself, and our original Guru, Lord Brahma, Sampradaya Guru. By their blessings, we can perceive that actually Krishna consciousness is the ultimate solution to all problems and to everything in this world. Without Krishna consciousness, no one can be happy. It's a very important thing for realization, because when we preach Krishna consciousness, we realize that. When we're distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, or Harinam, or dealing with people, we have a very compassionate heart because we can see them. They're not happy. You can tell them. Their face is like a mirror. They're crying out, "I'm not happy, please help me." They don't say that, but it's a subconscious attraction. So they buy the book because they feel something with us. There's some attraction. Because everyone's looking for some solution. They just either not conscious of it, or they're looking in the wrong place. And the scientists, unfortunately, are looking in the wrong place because they're trying to come up with some material solutions, imperfect senses. So what they can come up with? An imperfect science. We are looking for the perfect science, perfect solution, perfect knowledge, and that is the Vedic Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra, and the blessings of the entire Sampradaya. This is when we get inspiration. And this is also the purpose of the Bhagavatam classes. So we can actually become inspired and continue our devotional practice, devotional service, with better consciousness, better focus, and understand the purpose of this. Why we are serving Krishna. It's not just a sentiment. We are here to love Krishna. We are to please Him, give Him pleasure, and which is the mood of the Vrajavasis. And this is when Brahmaji got the ultimate inspiration. Therefore, he sang Brahma Samhita. And by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have these literatures, Brahma Samhita. I'll just read the verse again. So this is the new chapter, chapter 9, Brahma's prayers for creative energy. Translate Srila Prabhupada. The verse, Lord Brahma said, "O my Lord, today, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, you are the only knowable object, because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the Absolute. You exist as the Supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter." And just one paragraph from a purport, just to conclude the class. Brahma was extremely satisfied upon observing the magnificent beauty and opulence of the Lord, and he admitted that nothing can be comparable to him. So this concludes the whole purport, that Brahmaji realized his great fortune. Nothing more beautiful, nothing more than Krishna. Krishna is the most complete, the most satisfying, and the most inspiring. Krishna is the source of everything, cause of all causes also. So we are very fortunate to take shelter of this sampradaya, blessed by Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Madhavendra Puri came before Mahaprabhu, prepare his pastimes. And Mahaprabhu took initiation. And then he also visited other sampradayas and received all this valuable information, input, which he could empower the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Because when you study Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, you get the best of all sampradayas. So we are very, very fortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a lot of recognition to Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, because Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, they were very famous about defeating Mayavada, so which is a confusion. It's a distraction for the living entities. Because like Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, so much distractions. So unless we are very clear about our intentions and our objectives, we can get distracted. Even on a daily basis, we can get distracted, not to speak in a philosophical. So the Mayavadi doctrines, which is a direct offense, one of the most offensive doctrine ever, because we're directly offending the Supreme Lord, denying His personality, everything is Maya. They don't understand that Achintya Beda Beda, that one and different at the same time. God is omnipotent. He is one and different at the same time through His energies. So they don't get it. But Mahaprabhu makes it very clear to us. And he reinforces what Lord Brahmaji already said to Naradaji in that conversation. What is the most powerful formula, especially for the people, the jivas of Kali Yuga? And Brahmaji also said the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Maha Mantra has no beginning, no end, is directly the Lord. There's no such a thing that the Maha Mantra originated somewhere. Of course, there's scriptural records, Lord Brahma and many other great personalities, Mahajanas, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reinforcing and created the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names, Sankirtan, Yagna, the fire. Every sacrifice needs fire. This is the real fire, Sankirtan, Yagna, chanting of the holy names. And without chanting of the holy names, our devotional service is not complete. Even Archana, it's all about chanting, always chanting the holy names. We worship the Lord together. We assemble in front of the Lord and chant the holy names of Krishna. And that's what Mahaprabhu did all around India, touring Udupi, Srirangam, Tirumala, all those places. Wherever he went, chanting, and induced all people to chant also. So everyone was chanting with him. Even the Tattvavadis in Udupi, they weren't so clear about Achintya Beda Beda. Mahaprabhu convinced them to chant the holy names. So, and then of course he visited the holy Dham Vrindavan. He discovered Radhakund, Shamakund, and he instructed the Goswamis to build up Vrindavan, build temples. So Mahaprabhu always takes us back to the ultimate contemplation and meditation, which is Vrindavan Dham. So this is a very philosophical and also inspiring chapter, because it's not just about the material creation here, but why it is taking place and where Brahmaji got this empowerment. Number one, inspiration, because he realized, oh, Krishna's pastimes, his confidential lila, Vrindavan lila, Vraja Bhumi Dham, the sweetness of Krishna, Govinda Maripusham, Tamaham Bhajami. That was his ultimate meditation. Therefore, everything started happening for Krishna's sake, facilitating. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any comment, questions? Quick. Yes, Prabhu. Conflict that may come up. One could say, do you think Mayavadi is offensive or not? Because the Vaishnava philosophy is so perfect, why did Prabhupada and instructors have to quote? I don't know if you find it loosely. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, there's a good questions. A devotee can distinguish what is correct, what is not. The Lord can manifest through any jiva. The Paramatma can manifest through anyone. They may speak wisdom. They may not have a complete holistic understanding what it is. So just to emphasize a particular philosophical point, Srila Prabhupada was even quoting certain scientists. just to make it clear to us, not because he was giving so-called recognition to them, but some of the scientific claims can actually support even our Siddhanta. Just an example. So wherever we have some knowledge, wisdom, pointing towards the right direction, there's no harm to use it as an example. And you see Prabhupada's preaching, he will use a lot of examples to substantiate and support the philosophical basis or philosophical point. So if you have a realization, let's say as a scientist, and you're realizing, and so that's what happened with Einstein, Albert Einstein. After all his mathematical formulas and realizations, laws of relativity, he came to a point that has to be a supreme architect. It cannot happen by accident. There's no such a thing accidental. So Srila Prabhupada was quoting sometimes Einstein. So, it's not about the giving much of the actual person himself or whatever it is, but some statements can be used to support Vaishnava Siddhanta. So we're not giving much recognition to, because Chanakya Pandit was so famous in that time. So or more or less everyone knows Chanakya Pandit in India, a great poet and a great, and he had this impersonal thing, but that was very much embedded in the psychic of the people of that time, impersonalism, Buddhism, all these transitions. But nevertheless, they said many things which Vaishnavas can utilize. See, we can utilize. We don't get caught up in the state of consciousness, but what they actually say, just like a swan can filter the milk, filter things, and not get affected by impurities. So Paramahamsa, Hamsa, see, why? Because they can remain aloof, not be affected by material. So a Paramahamsa like Srila Prabhupada, the great Paramahamsas, they can see the truths, and they can distinguish between illusion and reality. They're not giving much energy to the illusion. Rather, take the good out of everything. How Prabhupada used to say, if someone sees a piece of gold in a filthy place, you should pick it up. It's a gold. So sometimes truths, wisdom presented by unqualified persons, where we just take the gold out of it and use it for our purpose. So that's what Prabhupada did with these poets and scholars, not to glorify them or give them much credit, but interestingly, he gave a credit to Einstein, because Einstein was actually quite accepting and receptive to God consciousness. He realizing that, and he was reading the Gita on a daily basis, Bhagavad Gita, because he realized that the Vedas have such an information that there's answers for everything. It's not a dogmatic information, but it's very transcendental and very, very scientific. And he had a scientific brain, very brilliant. Everyone knows. Albert Einstein was a great... And Srila Prabhupada commented that. I heard the morning walk conversation, that Einstein was not an ordinary scientist. He was a good one. He was trying to understand how Krishna's creation took place. He was not challenging God's position. Unlike many, many other scientists who are still trying to figure out the creation. So they come to an impersonal conclusion that it all comes from nothing, everything comes from nothing. They're creating some kind of scientific, I call it belief systems, nothing to do with actual reality. They're all on just theories. That's not science. Real knowledge means to know things as they are. Modern science does not give us knowledge, actual knowledge. Because real knowledge means to know things as they are. Just like 1 + 1 = 2, it always remains 2. Not just now or in the future, no, right now, always. Modern science does not give definite. So they're changing the, theories, and they fail. But then nevertheless, some things are okay, matching up with reality. So Vaishnava know how to filter. Just like we have many Vaishnava scientists, Sadaputta Prabhu, Dhrutakama Prabhu, many, many others, who able to distinguish between illusory science and actual science. Because nothing wrong with science, but you have to know how to analyze it. Because ultimately it's scientific. Everything is scientific. Nothing accidental or just vague. Everything has a reason. Cause and effect. Everything has a reason. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was so advanced in sciences, especially mathematics. He even had gurus. He accepted some teachers who presented the Vedic mathematics called Sulba Sutras, very advanced form of mathematics, which was the foundation of Vedic astrology also. He was very advanced in astrology. So he could defeat anyone in any subject in favor of God consciousness. Because ultimately, even mathematics, you can, if you're very, very intelligent and brilliant, you can come to a conclusion that, wait a minute, there is higher possibilities, higher dimensions here. So, and God consciousness is a higher dimensional concept, spiritual concept. We are actually eternal, transcendental, living entities, beautiful, and like our Brahmaji got the inspiration. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vyasadeva ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam. Was okay? Okay. Yeah. When my answer was okay? Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.